Game of the Final Judgment, Awakening of the Knee Opening. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226 Go to the Ruins. Yanhua Windbreaker Awakening Branch Effect. Branch 1, burn 8 times per second. Branch 2, skill range plus 100%. Zhao Yuan chose branch 1, and went all the way to the black, and it was the same to change after getting tired of playing effects of the True Oath Awakening branch. Branch 1, True Vow permanent buff plus 5, every 10 levels up, get 2 quotas. Branch 2, increase the upper limit of damage reduction attributes to 85%. Now the number of True Pledge has reached 20, plus 8 teammates and a guild crystal. There are still 11 places that have not been used. If you continue to choose branch 1, the quota for these real vows will overflow too much. The damage reduction attribute has already exceeded 100% under the addition of the skill Halo. But there is an 80% damage reduction limit. Zhao Yuan chose branch 2, and the upper limit of the damage reduction attribute was raised to 85%. The prefixes of these 3 awakening skills have been changed to Holy Spirit, and the priority of the skills has been increased. Returning to level 1 again, the proficiency consumed to improve the skills of these Holy Spirit ranks is even more exaggerated, much more than the second awakening. However, Zhao Yuan possessed hundreds of millions of times proficiency, and now his skill upgrade speed was 200 times faster. It would not take too long to reach the full level of 100 if he raised the level of 3 awakened skills after the skill awakening. Zhao Yuan's attribute panel has been upgraded again, reaching level 118. Zhao Yuan said in the group chat, "I'm going to the Demon King's arena to face the challenge from the brave. In the early morning of tomorrow, we will set off to the job transfer hall to complete the 5th job." Zhong Wen said excitedly, "I want to go to the arena too. I have Zhao Yuan's permanent oath buff on me. Now I have won more than 8,000 games in a row. No one is my opponent. In a short time, I may also be able to trigger the hidden conditions and obtain the first level Demon King mark." Guang Heron also said, "I am the same way. I am afraid that if we match each other, there will always be one person whose winning streak will be interrupted." Yun Ying added, "You can choose a draw. After the draw, there will be no victory, and the winning streak will not be interrupted. At that time, there may be a scene where all members of our guild have the mark of the devil." After Zhao Yuan quit the dungeon, he chose to enter the arena, and a large number of brave challenge applications piled up like a mountain. Zhao Yuan chose to accept the challenge, and after the 3-second matching time passed, Zhao Yuan entered the arena of defeating the devil. The enemy facing him is a level 120 mage player, dressed in a white and blue robe with blocky dark gems inlaid on the surface, holding a staff taller than itself. The copper bell hanging from the top swayed in the wind. Zhao Yuan is already at level 118? What is this upgrade speed? Last time I saw him, he was still at level 90, the male mage asked in surprise, and after level 100, more experience points are required to upgrade. Why is his upgrade speed still so exaggerated, without any feeling of slowing down? Level 118. Isn't this in line with the level range of the Unknown Ruins? If Zhao Yuan enters the Unknown Ruins, who can stop him? Zhao Yuan said, "Unknown Ruins? Did something happen? The country of the mage on the opposite side has a neutral relationship with Xiaoguo, so he didn't hide it." Anyway, Zhao Yuan could see it when he opened the forum. The male mage said, "Did you just exit from the dungeon or secret realm? A relic on the border between the Xia Kingdom and the Beautiful Kingdom has appeared in the world, and it is very likely that it is a building that seals the evil spirits of the abyss." Chapter 227 Arrival. Suyuxin Ally, we need to pass through several secondary main cities, and use teleportation points to cross most of the distance. Wait for me to see. About 6 second-tier main cities are enough, and the rest of the distance can be reached with a dive fighter. It will take a total of 7 hours, Zhao Yuan said. "Let's go then. The last time I killed the Blood Moon Goddess, I got a growth shield. Maybe we can help the evil spirit break through the seal, then carry out the kill?" Forever, Su Gaoshu was shocked and said, "This strange brain circuit, is it true that my strength limits my imagination?" Guang Heron said from the side, "Instead of finding a way to seal it, it's better to release it and kill it completely. The train of thought is fine, but last time it was the consciousness avatar of the Blood Moon Goddess. This time, this one is probably the main body. The two are not the same concept at all." "Yeah," Zhao Yuan nodded and said, It's true that you can't be careless. Let's see the specific situation when we arrive. Let's go. Su Yuxin used the S-Class upgrade to upgrade the radar and power of the dive fighter. The team members took a fighter plane to the east of the second-tier main city, spent copper coins to carry out long-distance teleportation, and arrived at the second-tier main city tens of thousands of kilometers away. Repeating this repeatedly, Zhao Yuan opened his mouth and said to Su Guoshu, "Your potential is good, now I will sign a permanent buff of true vows with you. Once it's signed, even I can't cancel it." The permanent buff effect can cross dungeons, secret realms, and distance restrictions. In other words, you can easily pass the awakening trial. Zhao Yuan's words made Su Guoshu's soul tremble. Pass through the awakening dungeon without injury. No wonder other people's skill strength is so high, even scarier than the SSS level. It turned out that the skill awakening was performed with a permanent buff of the oath. After Su Guoshu hung up the eternal oath buff, he immediately wanted to enter the secret trial realm, but was interrupted by Gong Herring in the backseat. "Now you are on a dive fighter plane. After you exit the secret realm, will you still be in the cabin? Or have you returned to the position before entering the secret realm? It's better to enter the awakening trial after landing. It's not so short of time." 7 hours later, it was already dark, and the dive fighter was still flying on the last leg of the journey. 7 Zhao Yuan turned on the true oath, but turned off the thorn and timer, because he wanted to get stuck in the level. As long as he didn't kill the beast, he could stay at level 118 for a long time. Tens of thousands of flying beasts crazily crashed into this dive fighter, and Zhao Yuan bore all the damage, which also triggered his extreme adaptation many times. Although Zhao Yuan cannot shoot, other members can output. Zhang Fengwu manipulated the flying sword, continuously piercing through the flying creatures covering the surface of the fighter. Use the great teleportation of the universe to move all the beasts tens of meters away. Or turn on the sword skill and let tens of thousands of flying swords protect the fighter jets. Zhong Wen's giant white bone beast also pieced together long and narrow bone wings, followed by the side of the fighter plane, and escorted it. Zhao Yuan is also constantly watching the forum to see what happened in the unknown ruins. Zhao Yuan briefly introduced to his teammates the changes that have taken place in the evil ruins in the past 7 hours. The evil sculpture absorbed the energy of flesh and blood, and asked for help again. The original words meant that he had to absorb the energy of flesh and blood to have the power to call for help. Therefore, the living creatures that entered the ruins before that were killed, he promised that he would not kill any human beings who entered the ruins again, and hoped that someone would rescue him. He promised to send a gift from God. But there are only 3 places, Sun Qiyu said. It's not like someone really believes Zi Chang's words. Zhao Yuan, there are always people who yearn for power, and there are always people who will take risks for power. It's just that the beautiful country captured the nearby ferocious beasts and threw them into the ruins, so they were no longer polluted and drained of flesh and blood. Subsequently, various forces found fragments of props to unseal the seal in the ruins. Chapter 228 Encounter. It seems that the resistance to abyss and starry sky pollution belongs to the highest level of resistance. Every time the ultimate adaptation is triggered, the resistance will only increase by 0.1 points. Under normal circumstances, it should be increased by 1 point. Zhao Yuan activated the Baron's tentacles while speaking to extract the attributes of these polluting creatures. Turn on Frenzy Taunt and turn off Thorns and Timer. I can't upgrade now, otherwise I will exceed level 120. Although I want to be expelled from this area immediately, my attributes will be severely suppressed. It's the same as before when our level was too high and we were asked by the system to enter a high-level area within 3 days, so I turned off the Thorn and Timer, and the output depends entirely on you, as well as the little Phoenix. Zhao Yuan summoned a Phoenix, and the little Phoenix activated the Eternal Blazing Sun and Zuan True Fire, constantly killing these half-step monarch-level baby moths. Zhong Wen said, "Don't worry. The output will be left to us. I have also grown into a terrifying strong man now." In addition, the little Phoenix's full map coverage evaporates, and the speed of spawning monsters is not slow. Yunying has always activated all of her halos. After the awakening of the magic halo, the amount of magic regeneration has doubled, but it still cannot sustain the consumption of her high-level halo skills. Fortunately, the equipment and fashion she chooses all increase the magic return attribute, which allows her to activate all auras 24 hours a day, and the magic value is always full. The baby moth used its tentacles, 2 tentacles extended from the top of its head, stabbing towards Zhao Yuan. Zhao Yuan didn't dodge, and stood still and carried it hard. Suffering from the tentacle skill attack, soul strength and abyss pollution resistance are being judged, has been exempted from the effect of pollution invasion, trigger extreme adaptation, abyss pollution resistance plus 0.1. Spiritual manipulation resistance plus 1, constantly being beaten, you can become stronger. After a while of extreme adaptation, the resistance provided by the abyss pollution will almost catch up with the abyss crown skill. Su Yuxin summoned the cruiser, Chu Zhaoqing released the ghost ship, and the ghost ship in the form of fog was attached to the surface of the steel cruiser. Let this warship become a suspended airship. The dense torrent of bullets and the continuous barrage of missiles bombarded the baby moths, and soon these polluting creatures were killed. Gong Heron said, there are only a small amount of experience points and proficiency, and a piece of minced meat, and there are no more drops, and this piece of minced meat appears to be a prop of unknown function. Zhao Yuan responded, this is probably the fragment of the prop that unsealed the seal. Do you want to piece together all the pieces? Su Yuxin said, a team of players is rushing here. They must have heard the sound of heavy artillery fire. Come over to check the situation. In this church, my radar equipment was affected and the coverage was severely reduced. Zhao Yuan then saw a familiar face from the east, the power of the Xia Kingdom. Qi Chunjin, the 8th level president of the Xia Kingdom, was surprised and said, the devil Zhao Yuan? You also appeared here. Zhao Yuan nodded and saw that many members of Xiao Guo's guild were injured. And he could guess that they were more or less contaminated by the abyss. Zhao Yuan said, let's form a team. We have the aura ability to purify pollution. Yu Ning only opened up some unimportant halo effects to these members of the Xiao Guo guild. The skill halo and experience halo are all hidden. Qi Chunjin, the 8th level president of the Xia Kingdom, said, we were attacked by polluting creatures just now, and were also attacked by players from the Sakura Kingdom and the Kangaroo Kingdom, so we ran away in embarrassment. Chapter 229 Grab directly. Abyss pollution resistance. This is the highest level of resistance, and even high-level bigwigs are working hard to collect them, the vice president said in shock. Key Spring Festival said, you turned off your anti-aura ability? Is it to get stuck in experience points? Zhao Yuan nodded and said, although there is still 2 levels of distance, it is always good to get a card in advance. As long as I am not suppressed by attributes, I will be invincible in this area. As for the output, it can be completely handed over to you. In Zhao Yuan's sight, these people stood up with strange crows, wearing white hats like bamboo hats and soft robes. It seems that a lonely dancer dances gracefully in the middle of the night, which is more spiritually polluted than the baby moth just now. Raven dancer quality, half-step monarch level. 90 horsepower. 4000 W magic value. 100 W power. 35 W physique. 40 W agility. 40 W intelligence. 50 W skills, dance, break, hypnosis. Tens of thousands of raven dancers approached the team, and the long-range attacks in the team began to output. When the flying props were about to touch the enemy avoided a large number of flying props with strangely beautiful dance steps. Zhao Yuan said, it seems that this dance skill is to increase the chance of evasion, and the rest of the hypnosis must be the ability of pollution, battle information, trigger the true oath, take all damage from friendly units, suffer attacks, and reduce HP by 0, trigger extreme adaptation, abyss pollution resistance plus 0.1, hypnosis resistance plus 1, trigger perseverance, mysterious scale, temporary double defense plus 40 points, plus 40 points. A bunch of half-step monarch level crow dancers approached Gong Heron, used the break skill, and stretched out their long, dark arms, trying to break Gong Heron's neck. In an instant clank. Zhang, the illusory knife shadow passed by, and several dark arms fell to the ground. Self-created knife technique, flurry. Gong Heron held the sword in both hands, and every second, he cut out dozens of sword gangs with all his strength, and flew out in all directions without any rules. It was like a sickle for harvesting straw, and wherever the smoke-waved knife light passed, there were corpses that had been cut in half. Sword master plus burning soul plus heart eye plus sharpness. Let Gong Heron gradually approach the strong man who cuts the mountains and seas with his sword, and her speed of attacking the knife is too fast. The original equipment attribute has increased a lot of attack speed, plus the bonus of Yunning's attack speed halo and the 30% attack speed bonus after the Master of Swordsmanship awakens. Even if you don't need to use all your strength, you can cut at least 2 knives in 1 second. A large number of polluting creatures were beheaded by Gong Heron. and she maintained an elegant posture from beginning to end. The high level of perception provided by the SS level mind has raised Gong Heron's level in melee combat to a higher level. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230, Killing Enemy Players. Now that I think about it, so many forces have appeared in a short period of time. There must be something wrong with them. Most of the forces in other countries have also obtained special items similar to strange inscriptions and are directed to this ruin. Qi Chunchen continued, it is now in the state of night, and the attributes of these polluting creatures will also increase by 200%. I always feel that this is a trap. Of course, there is an ability user in our team who forces group teleportation. Even if it is really a trap, we can teleport away quickly, and safety can still be guaranteed. Chu Zhaoqing took out a pitch-black hat left over from the ancient era from the void, with many strange patterns in the fields of death, return to death and hidden engraved on the surface. She put on the Hades invisibility cap, and the whole team seemed to be erased inch by inch with an eraser, completely disappearing without leaving any footprints. Qi Chunchen said, is this group invisibility? Although it is protected by Zhao Yuan's oath effect, it is safer to be invisible, the vice president said in surprise. The level of invisibility is very high. Even the traces and sounds produced by movements are covered. This is definitely an S-level ability, or even an S-level or higher ability. Chu Zhaoqing said, the duration of invisibility is 5 hours. Let's go. The team followed Su Yuxin's route and soon entered the basement floor, where it became even darker. If there were no lights, it would be completely invisible. Because there is soft moonlight seeping through the broken windows on the surface level, but there is no light source at all on the basement level. Su Yuxin 7 matches floated around the team and turned on the lights, allowing the team to get ample vision. Chu Zhaoqing explained, even the lights irradiated by invisible units can be invisible. These lights can only be seen by us, and in the eyes of the enemy, it is still pitch black. The vice president murmured in his heart that the priority of this group of stealth was too high. Even the light from the stealth unit could be hidden. S-level skills can't do it either. It should be SS-level group stealth. Su Yuxin's glasses kept flickering, and a map of the deserted church was gradually perfected. There are still 5 minutes to go, and you can see the teams of Sakura Country and Kangaroo Country. Yuning sent a private channel to Zhao Yuan. I will turn off the experience halo effect on you. If the enemy is too strong, you can also turn on anti-armor. Zhao Yuan nodded. Once the 50 times experience bonus effect is turned off, it will take a long time for his experience points at these 2 levels to fill up. Zhao Yuan saw the Cherry Blossom Country and the Kangaroo Country who were fighting against polluting creatures in the distance, and there were about 500 people in total. There should be 250 people on each side. The vice president said excitedly, the roles have been reversed. The Cherry Blossom Country and the Kangaroo Country dared to attack us just now, kill them all here, and then snatch the mincemeat they collected to prevent the release of the seal. Zhao Yuan was the first to activate the fanatical taunt, first to control all the enemies, and then release the Baron's tentacles, rumbling to absorb the attributes of all the enemies. The 500 enemies looked horrified. There were polluting creatures in front and Xiaoguo troops in the back. This is almost a doomsday situation. And controlled by fanatical ridicule, let alone escape, he didn't even have the right to choose the target of attack. He could only attack Zhao Yuan desperately, regardless of the consequences. The 8th level president of Sakura Country said viciously, there is no way out, and we can only hope to survive if we fight with all our strength. Chapter 231, Angel Sculpture. The enemy hit by the Twilight skill could not even say a complete sentence, and was easily killed. Zhong Wen said in the guild group chat, because the skeleton summoning is only S level, this skeleton only inherits half of the body's skills. The rank of the priest level is too high. It is very good to retain 2 skills. What you get is the ability of Dusk and the Rapier of Light. The cooldown of Dusk is 15 minutes, and the cooldown of the Rapier of Light is only 5 seconds, which can be released continuously. Speaking of Zhong Wen, he manipulated the white bone beast to use the Rapier of Light, and strands of silver white sword energy suddenly appeared from the void behind the enemy, beheading the opponent's head. The enemy couldn't even see how he died, and even the teammates on the side couldn't see the thin sword hidden in the light. The 8th level president of Sakura Country took advantage of the 30-second taunting effect to end activated the shadow clone ability, fled frantically, and abandoned his subordinates. Zhao Yuan picked up an irregular stone on the ground and threw it with an attack power of up to 8,500 W, instantly piercing the body of the 8th level president of the Sakura country, and died on the spot. There are only 500 people, so it doesn't take much time. Zhao Yuan glanced at his experience points. Without the bonus of experience aura, the benefits of killing a player are not too obvious soon. All the enemies of Sakura country and Kangaroo country were beheaded, and 3 pieces of mincemeat and a flesh and blood right hand were collected. Flesh right hand, effect unknown. Zhao Yuan combined 5 broken pieces of mincemeat and got a flesh and blood right leg. The legs, hands, and torso are all 3 pieces together, so it's not too difficult. Suga Oshu said, I can use the corpse ban to banish these flesh and blood right hands. Zhong Wen suggested, after the corpse is banned, a skeleton box will be formed. As long as the box is not broken, these flesh and blood bodies will always be exiled in a different dimension. Together with Zhao Yuan's true oath, this skeleton box will become an indestructible unit. Zhao Yuan said, anyway, at this level, I'm a symbol of invincibility. Why don't I take away all my flesh and blood? Then they are sealed in different locations. Destruction should be impossible. If it can be destroyed, these pieces of meat will not appear, and then they will be synthesized into flesh and blood bodies. Su Yuxin's glasses continued to glow, which was equivalent to computer display. In the period of time just now, Su Yuxin transformed his sky fighter into a scattered reconnaissance machine, added Chu Zhaoking's advanced stealth effect, and continued to investigate Su Yuxin. On the second basement level, there are forces from the beautiful country and the white bear country. I didn't expect that even the white bear country would be here, He Spring Festival said in surprise. Is something wrong? There are polluted creatures on the first floor that can be killed to obtain flesh and blood. How did the beautiful country and the white bear country enter the second floor? Aren't these flesh and blood bodies important, or is it the wrong way we entered? The vice president guessed. Before we arrived, the beautiful country had already stationed a camp here. It must have been observed for many days and found some special passages. Zhao Yuan opened his mouth and said. It was mentioned in Zisun's plea for help that the person who rescued him could receive God's gift directly without paying a price, but there were only 3 places. Are they competing for the God-given quota on the second underground floor? Zhang Fengwu nodded and said, it's very possible that the beautiful country wants to grab the 3 God-given places first, and then compete for the flesh and blood body. I think the White Bear Kingdom is also going to grab the quota from the gods. Our information is too different. If there is no mechanical product of Suyuxin, we may not even be able to figure out the intention of the enemy, the vice chairman said excitedly. We can take away the God-given quota and all these flesh and blood bodies. In this way, the evil seal can't be broken again, and there's no need for Zhao Yuan. As long as this priest-level white-boned beast is needed, no one can stop it. Zhao Yuan nodded and said, then go to the second underground floor and grab all the 3 God-given places for him. Qi Spring Festival reminded, Wei Xiaoguo and Bai Shangguo have a neutral relationship. It is best not to take the initiative to attack them. The hostile relationship between the beautiful country and us, just meet and kill, it will not have any effect. Chapter 232 Shrine Fragments. Attacking the angel sculptures will cause you to be infected with layers of petrification effects, but if you don't attack these sculptures, you will be locked by the chasing skills. Zhao Yuan turned on the fanatical taunt, and taunted all the angel sculptures. The pupils of these sculptures shone with a faint light, using the mind invasion skill. Zhao Yuan suffered tens of thousands of mind invasions in an instant. Battle information, suffering from a mind invasion attack, soul strength and willpower are being judged. Exempted from the mind invasion effect, in the previous battles, Zhao Yuan had already accumulated a lot of mind control resistance, and now facing this kind of attack, it is easier to save them all. Trigger extreme adaptation, spiritual damage resistance +1, follow is a skill similar to teleportation. As long as one is not paying attention, the angel sculpture will teleport to the player's back, carry out a forced mind invasion, and pour the abyss pollution into the player's soul. Zhao Yuan simply punched out a punch, and the high attack power directly smashed dozens of gray and white sculptures into pieces. Now his energy storage value has been superimposed to 5,000 points, and the superposition speed of energy storage value has doubled after awakening. In Chu Zhaoking's hand appeared a spear covered in blood-red iron rust, and the tip of the spear was surrounded by crimson flames at this time. It was thrown with all its strength, piercing through a gray and white sculpture, spreading out a huge scarlet storm, instantly killing all the angel sculptures within the range. Zhao Yuan turned on the automatic attack mode of steel mechas, mechanical tanks, dive fighters, and cruisers. With the improvement and awakening of these skills, the mana consumption will increase accordingly. Fortunately, Yuan's magic recovery aura is strong enough to support the ammunition and power consumption of such a mechanical army. The giant mecha is 20 meters high, and it is difficult to move in this area. It was transformed and dismantled into small mechas by Zhao Yuan. The raging artillery crazily covered the angel sculpture, piercing through the marble body and blasting it into powder. Chu Zhaoqing released the newly obtained S-level jack and the P, and huge turquoise P vines dropped from midair, smashing the angel sculpture into pieces. The exaggerated combat power of Zhao Yuan's team shocked Qi Chunjin and others. None of these people has a skill below S level. I doubt whether they made it through the latest 80-level Abyss difficulty dungeon. The vice president, it is probably them, but Zhao Yuan's team is less than 10 people. Could it be that with such a small number of people, they can speed responded through the Abyss dungeon? Qi Chunjin retorted, combined with Zhao Yuan's entire ability, Phoenix's map coverage attack, and Zhao Yuan's high speed of diving fighter jets, speedrunning in 6 hours and 45 minutes is entirely possible. Yuanying said in the group chat, the most difficult thing about polluting creatures is that the attack comes with abyss pollution, which will make the player's sanity continue to decline, and eventually fall into madness, and Zhao Yuan directly bears the pollution of all friendly forces, and these polluting creatures become vulnerable. 10 minutes later, an irregular dark gold fragment fell from a gray and white sculpture shrine fragment, function unknown. Zhao Yuan, this should be the proof of the quota given by the gods. Not only a flesh and blood body is required, but all the shrine fragments must be gathered together to break the seal. Chapter 233. The Judge. Zhao Yuan scattered 3 pieces of the shrine and 5 pieces of ischemic limbs into the backpacks of different teammates to prevent mutations. After that, he planned to leave the ruins, take a dive fighter, and put on the oath effect. Zhao Yuan didn't even have to worry about his level exceeding level 120. Not long after walking out of the ruins, the bizarre inscriptions in Qi Spring Festival's backpack broke free on their own, as if it had been premeditated, gathered the 3 shrine fragments in different people's backpacks together, and then flew in the direction of the ruins. Everyone keeps attacking and blocking, but this strange inscription is between the real and the illusory. Unless it is an attack of real damage, it cannot be intercepted at all. This Qi Spring Festival never thought that he had already completed the task, and when he reached the last step, there would still be an accident. This strange inscription was guiding me to this ruin from the very beginning. Is it really a conspiracy? Qi Spring Festival said with an ugly face. Zhao Yuan couldn't figure it out. It's all stored in our system backpack. How can it be stolen? What kind of ability is this? Doesn't it mean that our precious props and equipment may also be stolen? Everyone turned around and saw a Western man with dry blonde hair and a deep outline. He grabbed the strange inscription and obtained 3 shrine fragments at the same time. A person from a beautiful country. He wants to be a member of the gods? Lift the seal to obtain the power of gods, Yuanying analyzed. No, how could he have such a strange ability? Most of the power infiltrated by the evil spirit was given to him. The S-level insight person shook his head and said, he is no longer human, and his body is full of abyss pollution. His eyes were dark green, like a pair of dark gems. S-level insight skills can not only see the traces of disappearance, but also see the specific attributes of high-level creatures, and can also see whether a person is contaminated with pollution. Zhao Yuan hurriedly said, Zhong Wen, quickly banish the flesh and blood right leg in your backpack to another dimension. He can steal the shrine fragments in our backpack, and he can certainly steal these mutilated bodies. Zhong Wen was able to use the bones ban ability, and a large number of skeletons on the bones of the giant beast were split and pieced together to form a square and flat skeleton box. The interior is deep, as if connected to the endless starry sky, and there is a weak and strange suction. When Zhong Wen adjusted the flesh and blood right leg in the backpack into the skeleton box, the flesh and blood right leg in his hand was pulled away by an irresistible force. Zhao Yuan released a frenzied taunt, trying to interrupt the enemy stuff, and his teammates also attacked, but none of the men with dry blonde hair moved quickly. The 5 mutilated bodies seemed to have come to life. They broke free from the backpacks of the crowd, and pieced together one by one, forming a headless body in a simple white robe. Zhao Yuan's brows were furrowed, and his thoughts were spinning. The strange inscription on Qi Spring Festival stole 3 fragments of the shrine. This is understandable, And it may be a special ability, but why did the 5 broken flesh and blood bodies break free from the system backpack? Is it because of this ruin? Only when the flesh and blood bodies are placed in the ruins. These flesh and blood bodies will sleep. Once you leave the ruins, do you come back to life? That's right. The state of these flesh and blood stumps seems to be active, and the mutation started when they just left the ruins. The western-faced man with dry blonde hair raised his hands, and the outline of his face changed inexplicably. Just watching this process, Zhao Yuan suffered a lot of abyss pollution, and then was directly exempted by resistance. The facial features of the western-looking man gradually became old and wrinkled. Zhao Yuan felt as if he had seen it somewhere. Evil sculpture, Su Guoshu roared, isn't this the head held in the hands of the evil god with the squid head? Zhao Yuan immediately recalled a 10-meter-high evil sculpture in the church, holding a trident in one hand and a wrinkled head in the other. Stepping on the layers of waves, the face of the man in front of him was exactly the same as the head held in the hands of the heretic god, and there was no deviation at all. He took off the head on his neck with his own hands in almost 2 seconds. The head, with its eyes closed, is connected to a continuously swinging spine. Boom! Xuan's real fire turned into 1,000 rainbow beams and bombarded the enemy, but they were all blocked by an invisible barrier. Chapter 234 Betrayal. The divine judge in a simple white robe was freed after thousands of years, and in front of him was the tonic to restore his strength. Zhao Yuan said quickly, the man with the dry blonde hair should have been parasitized. He single-handedly planned this incident in order to gather 3 fragments of the shrine and retrieve his separated stump. Although he is parasitic in the human body, his strength is small, and he can only use the ability of some unique effects, such as the strange inscription just now. You can only choose to use the hands of the player to complete your own resurrection plan. If I'm not mistaken, the leaders of the forces present all carried a strange inscription. In the end, whoever got the shrine fragment will be plundered by this inscription. As for these flesh and blood bodies, they become active after leaving the church and can resurrect themselves. Zhao Yuan continued, but it looks like it should be able to fight. Although it is a prince, the attribute panel is still within an acceptable range. The corners of Key Spring Festival's mouth twitched. 1 billion HP, 1500 W intelligence attribute. This panel attribute is already against the sky, isn't it, Vice President? Zhao Yuan, can you resist? If you can resist, can you try to kill with entire ability? After all, the more terrifying the enemy's attack, the faster they will die, Yuning said. From the attribute panel, this is a spellcaster-type boss. Although there are only 3 skills, it looks terrible, Zhang Fengwu said. Now he has just been resurrected and is in the weakest state. If he is allowed to escape, he will soon grow into truly terrible evil. Zhao Yuan turned on Zealot Taunt, Yanho Windbreaker, Baron Tentacle, Holy Spirit. Zealot Taunt successfully taunted the target, but only increased the attack speed by 50% and decreased the magic attack attribute by 20%. The high priority of the prince is terrifying, and the successive taunting depends entirely on the priority of the bonus. After 3 awakenings, the enemy used the steel skill, and the judge stretched out his right hand and held it once. The golden shield in Zhao Yuan's hand disappeared directly and appeared in the enemy's hand. The 20x shield attribute of the contradiction bonus disappears immediately because the shield has been stolen. Not only that, but everyone else's weapons were stolen in an instant, except for Su Guoshu, who had no weapons. Isn't this the ability to steal 3 shrine fragments? Zhao Yuan quickly put on a replaced pale gold shield. But in the next second, the 3 pieces of armor on Zhao Yuan disappeared, and the attributes immediately dropped. You must know that these are all gold and equipment that has been strengthened to 90+, and each piece provides high panel attributes. Battle information, attack by the stealing skill, the blood volume is reduced by 0 points, and the Thorn's anti-armor is triggered. Inflict 2500 W real damage 8 times, puff, up to 200 million points of damage. Directly destroyed 1/5 of the boss's HP. Everyone was stunned, including the judge himself, who looked at the hideous wound on his body incomprehensibly. Anti-injury ability? I'm stealing equipment, but this can also trigger anti-injury? Obviously no damage is done. What is this exaggerated priority? Zhao Yuan secretly regretted that the true oath did not bear the stealing effect of all his friends. If all of them were grafted onto him, he would be able to trigger hundreds of Thorn's anti-armor in one breath, and he might be able to kill the boss in seconds. The stealing effect is special, and the oath effect cannot be grafted, so most of the equipment and armor of all teammates have been stolen, and the attributes have dropped a lot. But it doesn't matter, As long as Zhao Yuan can resist the damage, it doesn't matter if their equipment is stolen. Chapter 235 Divinity Separation. There were cracks all over the God Judge, and transparent worms drilled out of them one after another, fell to the ground, and kept trying to crawl back on their own. The enemy used the ability of separation of divinity, and a bright white halo permeated from the eyes of the Judge of God, covering all the targets. The release speed is too fast. Even if you want to escape, you can't do it. Battle information. Affected by the divine separation skill, resistance and soul strength are being judged. The skill effect is exempted by 80%. The SSS level Thorn Anti-Armor skill has been separated and cannot be used temporarily. Divinity separation is not a control skill, so it cannot be immune to the active effect of the unyielding soul. Zhao Yuan raised his brows. I was exempted from 80% of the skill effects, but I was still separated from a skill. If the resistance is insufficient, it is necessary to separate 5 skills at once, and the God Judge can also choose the target of separation by himself, and separated the thorns that are the most dangerous to him. A silver-white armor appeared on the surface of Zhao Yuan's body. The armor was carved with intricate thorn patterns. At this moment, it was forcibly taken away and turned into a light group, separating from Zhao Yuan's body. Zhao Yuan turned off the effect of the true oath at this moment, otherwise he would have to endure hundreds of divine separations, all skills would be banned, and he would surely die. With just a thought, the oath ability can be turned off and on by itself. Zhao Yuan did not help teammates to bear the effect of this skill, and all friendly units were separated with 5 skills. However, Phoenix has a high personality, and only the West Emperor Palace and Resurrection ability are separated. Scattered clusters of light fell all over the ground. These were the skills of the teammates who were separated out of the body, and it seemed that they could not be recovered in a short time. Zhang Fengwu said, I'm going. The SSS level Sword Lai and Tathagata God's Palm have been separated. Can this boss choose the specific skills to ban? Even if this ability is a skill to randomly separate targets, it is already an extremely exaggerated magical skill, and it can even choose to ban targets by itself. I knew I would hide my SSS level skills first, Zhang Fengwu said in the guild group chat. Zhao Yuan said in the team channel, I lost the Thorn Anti-Armor, which is the most important output skill. Without the anti-injury ability, our output is not enough to hurt prince-level creatures at all. However, there is good news. It won't be long before I can regain the Thorn Anti-Armor. We just need to delay for a while. The reason why Zhao Yuan is so confident comes from extreme adaptation, affected by skill separation. Extreme adaptation is triggered, skill separation resistance +1, +1. Now the level of extreme adaptation is already very high. The upper limit has reached 5,000 points, and at the worst it can be superimposed to 5,000 points of skill separation resistance. You can definitely be exempted from this skill and regain the Thorns and Anti-Armor Light Group. A trace of success flashed in the eyes of the Judge of the Gods. He has experienced countless battles, and he once stabbed a real evil god in the back. How could he die in the hands of such a weak bug? 7. Now that Zhao Yuan lost his Thorn Anti-Armor, the judgment of God can attack without any scruples. A large number of slippery tentacles extended from the bottom of his simple white robe, and the surface showed complicated and unspeakable mysterious patterns. To whip at everyone, this is not an ordinary attack. The target touched will be immediately invaded by the abyss pollution. Suga Oshu didn't show his skills at the beginning, so the skills that the God Judge separated from him were random. Chapter 236 The history of the SSS class has passed again. The enemy who turned into vortex of transparent insects uses the divine separation in the strongest state. The 8 skills of the target can be separated, and the enemy can also choose to separate the specified skills. Yao Bai's brilliance surged out of the illusory vortex, and Zhao Yuan was hit by the divine separation ability. Battle information, attack by skills, resistance, soul strength, separation resistance are being judged. If the judgment is successful, the separation effect will be completely exempted. At this time, Zhao Yuan's separation resistance has been superimposed to 3,000 plus, and it is still rising. There is no cooling time for the skill to adapt to the limit. As long as it is always in the separation state, the effect will continue to be triggered, and the corresponding resistance will be continuously stacked. SX. Zhao Yuan not only did not lose 8 skills, but also successfully picked up the lost Thorn's Anti-Armor ability. Everyone was stunned. What's going on? All the enemies have been activated the mythical creature form, and the effect of the skill should be greatly enhanced. Zhao Yuan was not able to completely exempt from the separation of the divine. But at this time he achieved 100% waiver. What kind of ability is this? It's too perverted, isn't it? Key Spring Festival was shocked and excited. Now with the Thorns at armor, even the boss who has activated a mythical creature form can't withstand the real damage, Yuning said. And after the enemy enters the form of a mythical creature, the reason will be greatly weakened, and it is impossible to use wisdom to find a way to defeat the enemy like before. Look at this group of starbugs, they only attack violently, they don't even have the idea of running away. Madness and tyranny have the upper hands in consciousness. Battle information. After being attacked by skills, the blood volume is reduced by 176 W points, triggering the Thorns at armor, causing 4000 W real damage 8 times. At this time, the greasy tentacles of the enemy kept slapping Zhao Yuan, trying to contaminate his sanity. Before that, the thorns were separated, so all attacks could not be triggered. Now the exaggerated 8 real counter-injury spans the distance and directly runs through the boss. The 320 million real damage caused the worms on the transparent worms to die one after another, turning into transparent liquid and dissolving in the soil. Although Zhao Yuan was attacked by 176 W points, it was still under the double defense of nearly 9000 W points. It is conceivable how high the boss attribute of the mythical creature form is. Just a single flogging of the tentacles was enough to knock out so much of Zhao Yuan's HP. But at this time, Zhao Yuan activated his golden sculpture ability after awakening, and a golden sculpture appeared behind him, and it was Zhao Yuan himself. The invincibility effect of up to 12 minutes was saved by the prince-level boss to only 30 seconds left, but it was enough. After all, he also has a pure white shield and Angel's Embrace. The Angel's Embrace has been stacked up to 6 layers. With a passive, he can be resurrected 7 times in a row. Zhao Yuan said, the battle is actually over. Although the mythical creature form is strong, it also makes the boss lose his wisdom beyond mortals, and I have exempted his most terrifying divine separation ability, and the next step is the regular process. Zhao Yuan opens Fanatical Taunt. Baron Tentacle, Yanho Windbreaker, and Tyrant's Wrath. The boss keeps reaching out his smooth tentacles to slap Zhao Yuan, or continue to use 3 skills. Attack, trigger Thorns at armor, causing 4000 W real damage 8 times, trigger Thorns at armor, trigger Thorns at armor. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237 Big Explosion. The skill of passing back history is undoubtedly a magical skill. When Zhao Yuan's blood volume drops to a dangerous level, after turning on the skill, it will return to the state before 3 minutes. This is only the effect of level 1. After the skill level is raised, the recovery time will be longer, and it can instantly recover from the residual blood state to full blood. When Zhao Yuan suffered a horrible negative buff, such as the divine separation skill of the traitor just now, as long as he turned on the relapse of history, he would be instantly immune to the skill. Or maybe Zhao Yuan was banished to a different space, and history relapsed, and he returned to his previous position in the blink of an eye. However, the cooling time is 12 hours, but Yuning's cooling aura is about to awaken, and with the addition of various cooling effects, the 12-hour cooling time will be greatly shortened. In Zhao Yuan's hand is a long and dark box, filled with a strange woody fragrance, engraved with complicated, chaotic, and asymmetrical mysterious patterns on the surface, corresponding to the disorder, chaos, and madness of the abyss. With a double superposition of Yuning's lucky aura and skill aura, Zhao Yuan has gained a lucky value of up to 1000 points. In this state, he can open the abyss magic box to get better items. Have obtained 120 level orange equipment 8, unit reincarnation symbol 3W, guild funds 300 million, guild building promotion permissions 10, pink pet equipment 4, copper coins 100 billion, 6th level gemstones 400, 6th level strengthening stones 3000, free attribute points 5000, soul strength plus 10, orange magic weapon, abyss level transfer trial skip voucher 2 Big Bang. A veritable explosion. The lucky value of 1000 points played a terrifying role. The first is the 120 level orange equipment, which is a set of heavy-duty armor. The armor is engraved with hollow tiger-shaped reliefs, and the tiger's eyes are inlaid with deep gems. The undulating silhouette makes this orange outfit look like a work of art. Tiger breastplate quality, orange wearing level, LV 120 attributes, HP plus 200W, dual defense plus 100W, resistance plus 20W, damage reduction plus 2%, armor piercing immunity 1W. The attributes of the orange equipment overwhelm the golden equipment, so Zhao Yuan immediately replaced it with level 120 orange equipment, and spent copper coins to transfer the enhancement level of the old equipment. Forging information. 96W copper coins have been consumed, and the equipment enhancement level has been successfully transferred. The gold equipment has an enhancement level of 90 plus. After the transfer, only 50 plus is left, but the total amount of copper coins remains the same, but the cost of orange equipment enhancement is higher. Zhao Yuan smashed down all the copper coins and strengthening stones he had just obtained in the sound of ping ping ping's strengthening success. All the equipment in the whole body was strengthened to level 110. Forging information. Consume 95 billion copper coins, a large number of enhancement stones, and the enhancement level of the whole body equipment to 110 plus. The 3W troop reincarnation talisman is exaggerated, because now it is an orange troop, and the cost is too expensive. With this 3W reincarnation talisman, the total number of centipedes in the Yaoi will reach 6W. Zhao Yuan changed the phoenix into 4 pieces of pink equipment, and the already exaggerated attribute value soared again. Zhao Yuan added 5,000 free attribute points to his physique, and distributed the extra 6 level gems to his teammates. 10 points of soul strength. This is indeed a precious attribute. Although it has the unyielding soul skill, the more of this attribute is naturally the better. Zhao Yuan is equipped with the orange magic weapon Curtain Lightning Mirror, which will paralyze the enemy for 3 seconds after being activated. The attributes of the orange magic weapon are also quite high. After completing the enhancement level transfer, Zhao Yuan looked at the 2 abyss level transfer trial skip coupons. The members of the team had a high output against the traitors, so they all got a valuable abyss magic box, while the members of the 8th level guild of the Xia Kingdom had too low output, basically no output, so naturally there was no reward. Yun Ning said, I opened 2 abyss level transfer trial skip coupons from the magic box. There are also some other common reward items. I also got 2 skip tickets, Zhong Wen said. Chapter 238 Snow Fruit. The Abyss Level 6 turn trial is completed, and 1W attribute points are obtained, each level up, strength and physique attributes plus 3,200 points, agility and intelligence attributes plus 800 points, a total of 9.6W points for strength and constitution attributes, and 2.4W points for agility and intelligence attributes. Levels 70 to 90 are 5 ranks, and levels 90 to 120 are 6 ranks. After Zhao Yuan completed the job transfer trial, all the attribute points gained at each level were fully replenished. Zhao Yuan then added the 1W points obtained after the 6th round to his physique. The current attribute panel is, name, Zhao Yuan power, 13 with physique, 16 with agility, 3 with intelligence, 3 with the conversion ratio of attribute points. Real attribute points is 101. True attribute points will remain permanently in the player's body, and will cause a crushing effect on targets with low-level attributes. Name, Zhao Yuan true strength, 1,300 real constitution, 1,600 true agility, 300 true intelligence, 300. Zhao Yuan felt scorching hot energy pouring into his body out of thin air. Every cell was evolving violently, and the tearing pain permeated the depths of Zhao Yuan's consciousness. Isn't this too painful? Zhao Yuan couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. He was at his peak when he debuted, and he obtained SSS level anti-armor at the beginning. It was difficult to break through the defense, and he never experienced too obvious pain. The conversion of real attribute points is the most severe pain he has ever experienced. But a full sense of reality emerges. Even if the Doomsday system disappears, these powers will always be his own. Other teammates have also completed the conversion of real attribute points. They grinned their teeth one by one, but fortunately, the intense pain came and went quickly. Su Yuxin squeezed his fist. True attributes have a high priority, and skill judgments involving these 4 basic attributes can easily crush enemies with ordinary attributes. It seems that there will be the same painful process when upgrading the level in the future, Zhao Yuan said. Yesterday we stayed up all night and rushed on the dive fighter plane. I'm already very tired. I'll go to rest first. After I regain my energy, we can consider starting the guild battle on our own initiative. And my own level has reached level 125, which has exceeded the limit of the second level main city. When facing players, my attributes will be suppressed, and it is restricted to leave the second level main city and enter the first level main city within 5 days. Everyone dispersed. Zhao Yuan set an 8-hour alarm clock for himself, and began to sleep and rest. 8 hours later, Zhao Yuan felt that his spirit was extraordinarily full, which seemed to be the reason for his transformation into real attributes. He opened the Demon King arena and found that a new function had been activated. The 5th level can start the duel between the devil and the devil, and the 6th level can carry out the team battle of the devil in the duel between the Demon King and the Demon King. You will encounter enemies of the same level, and the victor will get all the Demon King points of the defeated one, which can quickly increase the Demon King mark. The defeated party will naturally lose the Demon King mark and have to start over. Chapter 239 Alien Invasion Expansion Pack. The battle has just started for 5 seconds, and it is already over, and the audience has not yet reacted. This is dead? This is gone? Isn't Zhongzhou a veteran Demon King? Why is it so fragile? A player from the White Bear country couldn't understand. What kind of hedgehog is Zhao Yuan? It's a nuclear bomb. Whoever touches it will die? This is too boring. I paid 50 copper for the tickets. The audience of Sakura country was even more shocked, and they all knew the strength of Zhongzhou. An SS-level snowfruit can be elementalized and immune to physical attacks. Even if it is besieged by thousands of enemies, it can calmly counterattack. The ultra-high-intensity freezing ability made Zhongzhou famous in the Sakura country, and he was instantly killed as soon as he appeared, which was too shameful. Zhongzhou's strength is very strong, which further shows how terrible Zhao Yuan is. Even SS-level capable people can only be killed in seconds in front of him. Zhao Yuan also thought about stacking his freeze resistance, because with the increase of the skill level, the upper limit of the superposition of extreme adaptation also increased. I didn't expect that the same as the devil. The middle house was so fragile. Arena information. Victory in the duel. You will get 196 W points of experience, 103 W points of proficiency, 230 times 1 W of competitive coins, and 29 W of Demon King points. Zhao Yuan obtained the Demon King points that Zhongzhou had accumulated for a long time, and Zhongzhou lost the 5th order Demon King mark, and his combat power declined. The Demon King mark is promoted to Tier 4, promoted to Tier 5, Tier 5 Demon King mark. The cost of the competitive mall is reduced by 25%, and all attributes are increased by 25%. This improvement speed is too fast. If you fight a few more Demon Kings, wouldn't it be possible to upgrade to the 7th or 8th level Demon King mark? Zhao Yuan continued to match, but the other Demon Kings had already placed their free cards, and Zhao Yuan had to wait for 3 days. This is the fear of Zhao Yuan, who refuses the duel with special props, but the duration of the props is only a few days. Zhao Yuan had no choice but to continue playing the finals between the Brave and the Demon King, accumulating winning streaks and obtaining competitive coins. Zhao Yuan opens the 6th order competitive mall, where you can buy pink equipment, fashion, wings, real attribute points, and battle mounts. There are countless one-off props. Zhao Yuan spent 20 W competitive coins to buy an experience firework. After releasing it, he can get a 6-hour buff bonus and experience plus 30%, affects 10 friendly units. Zhao Yuan said in the group chat with his teammates, we can continue to choose to open the accessories bar. The jewelry craftsmen in the 2nd level main city are more powerful, and we can even get orange quality jewelry directly. Zhang Fengwu responded, the attributes of an orange accessory are also very impressive, and this is an additional equipment slot, and there is an extra grid equipment accessory. Su Yuxin opened the map and said, the 2nd level main city covers a vast area. There are 3 largest auction houses, and each of they can receive jewelry tasks. We'll just choose the nearest route. After arriving at the auction house, Zhao Yuan said straight to the point, we're here to collect jewelry tasks, abyss level difficulty. The jewelry maker is a very young woman with a beautiful face, but her hands are rough. After years of polishing jewelry, her hands are the same as those of men. Chapter 240 Pollution Players. 5 hours have passed, and many flying beasts have been encountered along the way. When they touch the diving fighter, they will trigger Zhao Yuan's Oath plus entire ability. After being killed 8 times by real counter-injury, Zhao Yuan turned off the battle information bar and no longer had to pay attention to the beasts along the way. Su Yuxin opened his mouth and said, The foggy area ahead is an unexplored coordinate, and there may be terrifying beasts beyond the current level. 7 Zhao Yuan turned his head and saw that there was indeed a thick gray fog, shrouding the vast stretch of mountains like a dividing line. The dive fighter lowered its height and finally landed on the ground smoothly, and the team members walked out one by one. Zhao Yuan looked at the task route provided in the taskbar. This is already an area shrouded in fog, and we walked through the fog for 20 minutes. Since it is an extraterrestrial meteorite, there should be obvious craters. Su Yuxin's mechanical glasses kept flickering with surveillance images. He dispatched 7 machines to float and transmit the detected images to the glasses. I found it, and if you walk a little further, you can see a crater with a radius of 100 meters, and my radar scans a lot of high-intensity life energy nearby. Zhong Wen asked curiously, is this an alien player? Since it is an alien invasion, they should have come to invade our resources and territories, right? Zhao Yuan walked forward. This task is abyss level. It shouldn't be that simple. However, even prince-level traders can only be crushed by me, and I can also traverse this area at will. Zhao Yuan's team continued to move forward, and his vision was bright. A huge meteorite was embedded in the ground, revealing 1/3 of the huge body. The nearby soil has turned red, which should have been formed after being burned by the high temperature in front of him. Is the meteorite mainstone. As long as the iron ore inside is dug out and brought back to Guli City, the mission can be completed. Zhang Fengwu controls a flying sword the size of a brush. This is the offhand weapon he recently acquired, which fits well with his flying sword killing technique. This orange short sword called Flying Fish can penetrate the heads of 50 targets in an instant. After being controlled by the flying sword killing technique, it can be said to be a real electric light flint. Zhang Fengwu opened his mouth and said, flying sword killing technique can control this kind of light weapon, and it can burst into terrifying speed. The bonus of 2% of my sword intent is even more outrageous. Said that Zhang Fengwu sacrificed Flying Fish, turned into a miner, and kept digging the meteorite in front of him. Su Guoshu also started a series of blasting skills: Bomb and Dunjia, Fire, Thunder, Forge, Psionic, Concentration, Peerless, Flurry, Armed, Color, Domineering, Enchanted, Burning Blood. Then Su Guoshu took out an iron pick and digged the meteorite. Ping, 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 ping. Zhang Fengwu's orange flying sword was the same as the electric drill. He looked down on the specific movement trajectory. He could only see a flash of red gold flying by, and a large number of stone chips fell to the ground. Zhang Fengwu said, there are traces of excavation here. He pointed to an inconspicuous depression and said, it should be left by the player who came to unlock the jewelry quest before. Su Yuxin looked at the radar screen and said, there is an enemy approaching, and the life energy intensity is very high. Zhao Yuan took out his own barrier of despair, and the silver-white spiked shield was only tens of thousands of kills away, and could be promoted to orange quality. Laugh. Chapter 241: The Passage Across the Galaxy. With his high internal strength bonus, Zhang Fengwu's senses surpass that of ordinary perceptual players. Squeeze the sword in hand, the orange flying fish the size of a brush turns into a touch of red gold, shuttle frantically, and penetrate the enemy's head back and forth. Due to the large number of enemies, a lot of attacks still fell on the teammates, triggering the Oath plus anti-armor effect one after another. 8 consecutive real counter-injury kills. A group of half-step priest-level Langguan clan at this time. Zhao Yuan has superimposed nearly 3,000 points of night vision ability. The higher the extreme adaptation level, the upper limit and speed of the superposition effect will be significantly increased. Zhao Yuan can already see normally in the dark night, which is no different from that in the daytime, and Su Guoshu is still digging out the hard meteorite. The strength of this meteorite is much higher than I thought. Although it looks like it's just soil, I'm going to dig it with all my strength, and I can only make inconspicuous pit marks. It's no wonder that jewelry craftsmen need extraterrestrial meteorite iron. This material is not inferior to gold and orange iron ore. Kang. The sound of digging changed, as if he had dug into metal. The iron pick in Su Guoshu's hand was instantly scrapped, and its durability returned to 0. The outer layer is hard soil, and the inside seems to be solid iron ore. I can't see anything without light. Can any iron pickaxe covered with armed domineering be broken? The strength of this meteorite is high enough. It definitely has an orange quality. Zhong Wen controls a priest level one-eyed beast, which is a giant formed by 10W white bone units with a one-eyed giant as the main body at this time. The dusk skill was activated, and the sunken white bone eye was covered with orange-red dusk mist, shrouding a large number of the light clan, causing the enemy to fall into a state of aging, and then a simple attack could kill the enemy in seconds. The two fourth-level mage towers on the shoulders of the bone giant also kept outputting. Chu Zhaoqing released the Last Supper in an extremely large range, and the body organs of the Languan clan began to betray the main body, causing the light absorption skills to be interrupted. The clear light descended again, and the corpses of the enemy who had just been beheaded in the darkness were everywhere. After restoring the light, Su Guoshu finally saw the picture in front of him. He had already excavated a very deep distance. Inside the soil layer of several meters was solid iron with a silver-gray luster. This is the extraterrestrial meteorite required by the mission? But what does this have to do with alien invasion? Su Guoshu asked in surprise. Zhao Yuan also tried to throw a punch, hitting the meteorite iron layer, blasting a huge crack. With a bonus of contradiction, he now has an attack power of up to 8,500 W points. Zhao Yuan kept smashing his fists, and concentrated at one point. The cobweb-like cracks continued to expand, which aroused strong reactions from the surrounding Zhangguan people. Zhao Yuan completely ignored these enemies, vowing plus anti-armor to make large swaths of enemies die. Zhao Yuan then summoned a black-quality phoenix, activated Eternal Blazing Sun and Zuan True Fire, and the monster spawning efficiency was instantly improved. Kang! 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 Zhao Yuan continuously blasted his fists with 8,500 W points of attack power, as if he wanted to split the meteorite in half. As the cracks continued to spread, a faint blue light penetrated from the depths of the meteorite. Zhao Yuan was surprised. There is another layer inside the iron layer. And it's still a luminous object. Everyone's curiosity was hooked. Meteorites are related to alien races. As an expansion piece after abyss pollution, alien races are at least as threatening as the abyss, or higher. But why hasn't it appeared yet? Zhao Yuan continued to analyze. In short, let's excavate the luminous minerals in the iron layer first. This must be an extremely precious material. Chapter 242 Part of the Truth. Zhao Yuan began to excavate the void ore, and the ore seemed to be like a pipe through the middle, with a faint blue liquid flowing. At this time, a ghastly clan with a more powerful ore came out from a distance. Unlike other blizzard clans, the degree of pollution on his body did not seem to be that serious. It is a state between madness and rationality, which can be guessed from the expression in the eyes. Scarlet family quality, priest level grade, LV 135 HP. 500 million magic value. 2000 true power. 5 real physique. 5 true agility. 10 real intelligence. 5 abilities, light absorption, pollution gas, blink, harvest, cursed body. Zhao Yuan said, this should be the boss at the abyss level difficulty. It doesn't seem to have completely lost its mind. After defeating it, you can use Chu Zhaoqing's illusion ability to torture. Now lower his blood bar first, then seal and torture him. The remaining half-step priest-level enemies and the heads of the priest-level Scarlet clan in front of them spread out layer by layer like flower buds, and the interior was deep, spraying out a purple-red poisonous mist. No need to think about it. These fogs must be contaminated with starry sky pollution, and the most terrifying thing about polluting creatures is the pollution they carry. If you are not careful, you will be infiltrated into the bone marrow by the pollution that is difficult to peel off. But Zhao Yuan's current pollution resistance is already terribly high. A large amount of fuchsia-colored mist seemed small in size, but it quickly covered the entire area completely, forming a swirling storm. Yun Ning said, even the top experts will run away immediately when they encounter this level of pollution fog, because the risk is too great. Once the sanity value drops below 50%, it will be difficult to control one's madness. Upgrading will not increase the sanity value. With such a strong amount of pollution, 100 sanity points will drop to 0 points in the blink of an eye, and the mutation will become a monster that loses sanity. Just like these ghastly people, Zhao Yuan's team was wrapped in a thick purple mist, which triggered the effect of Zhao Yuan's oath. Battle information: when encountering a pollution attack, the oath effect is triggered, and all damage suffered by the friendly party will be borne by oneself. Starry Sky Pollution Resistance Judgment has been successfully exempted from the pollution effect. Zhao Yuan alone helped the entire team fight against the pollution, and his sanity value didn't drop at all with the addition of SSS level Abyss Crown and Stargaze. Zhao Yuan's sanity value has exceeded 10,000 points. The sanity value of ordinary players is only 100 points. Every time these two skills are upgraded, the upper limit of sanity points will be increased by 100 points. This level of pollution doesn't even deduct a little sanity point, but it's hard to recover after the sanity point drops, and it may not recover a little in a lifetime. Still constantly build up pollution resistance. This is the first attribute against the abyss and the starry sky, Zhao Yuan said to himself. Encountering continuous starry sky pollution, triggering extreme adaptation, starry sky pollution resistance plus 0.1, plus 0.1. Chapter 243 Flame Mark. The priest-level Scarlet Clan continued. With the assistance of the Doomsday system, we entered this planet by dropping meteorites, but we never imagined that there are so many horrors in the outer layer of this planet. The planet is like a dazzling gem, and the terrifying existence outside the planet can even be called a real god. Although the Doomsday system has given some assistance, it can only allow priest-level clansmen to follow the meteorite. Zhao Yuan thought for a few seconds and continued, "Are you the only team?" "No. At least 100 of the same teams were sent to land on this planet, and there are countless civilizations in the heavens. After they develop to a high level, they will choose to invade each other and compete for resources." The priest-level Scarlet Clan finished speaking this sentence. Mental fluctuations were evident, and the illusion formed by the smoky matches gradually collapsed. Chu Zhaoqing, he is at the priest level. Although he is already seriously injured, the priority is here. The S-level ability after awakening can't deceive him for too long. He has already realized his situation, and he will not be able to ask the truth no matter what. Zhao Yuan slashed with a knife, and with a high attack power bonus, he directly killed the boss's last HP in seconds. The alien invasion is more difficult than I imagined, and people have to be sent to build a large teleportation point. However, this also makes sense. If players of different races can directly plunder each other so easily, then the race that first develops to a high level can snowball infinitely. Let the low-level civilization have no room for development. Zhao Yuan mined 10 units of void mine. Battle information, kill the target, trigger the billion times proficiency talent. The current multiplier is 240 times, a total of 660 million experience points, 50 times, have been obtained, and the player's personal level has increased by 7 levels. At level 90, you need to turn 6, and at level 120, you need to turn on 7. Therefore, Zhao Yuan still can't get attribute points after leveling up. A total of 350 million proficiency points, 250 times, have been obtained. Unawakened skills increase by 30 levels, once awakened skills increase by 25 levels, second awakening skills increase by 20 levels, and 3 awakening skills increase by 15 levels. Zhao Yuan reached level 132 and again gained a brand new skill. Trigger the talent Eternal Blessing and get the SSS level Endless Battle LV1, SSS level, when the blood volume is reduced to 75%, 50%, 25%, 5%. The physical defense of 0.1%, 0.2%, 0.4%, 0.8% will be superimposed every second, and the superposition limit is 50%. There is no cooling time, and when the own HP returns to the normal level, the superimposed effect will gradually disappear, and the skill effect will increase as the level increases. The skill is very strong, but Zhao Yuan may not be able to trigger it, because the death battle skill will only be triggered passively when the blood volume drops to a certain level. The physical defense is superimposed according to the percentage, and the upper limit of level 1 reaches 50% of the physical defense after reaching the full level or awakening. The upper limit of stacking will reach an extremely terrifying value. Zhao Yuan said, alien invasion is an enemy that will be encountered in the late stage. Right now, our opponents are other countries, polluting creatures, and fierce beasts. You can ignore these events for the time being, and get the accessories bar first, but such a huge void mine, it is impossible to put it in place. This is too wasteful. Void mine cannot be loaded into the system backpack, and it is difficult to transport. Guang Heron pulled out a long and narrow sword, chop it all up and transport it back to the guild's residence. Minerals of this level must be transported back. It doesn't work either. Even if you use the troop transfer tiger talisman to teleport the troops here, it's difficult to transport them back by flying troops. The particularity of the void mine makes it impossible to put it in a backpack or teleport it. 7. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244 Super Large Shackles of Imprisonment. Zhao Yuan himself got pink quality earrings, and the rest of his teammates got orange quality accessories. The increase in accessories are the basic attributes such as blood volume, double defense, magic return, blood return, attack, crit, magic resistance, earrings quality, pink wear level, LV1 attribute, magic resist plus 200 W as expected of pink quality accessories. Accessories can consume copper coins to continuously improve the level. Level 1 increases magic resistance by 200 W. After raising it to level 100, the increased magic resistance attribute will be very exaggerated, Zhao Yuan said to himself. The other teammates were equipped with new accessories. Zhang Fengwu said, I'm going to the arena, I can break through to the 1W winning streak immediately, and then I can also get the first order Demon King mark. Zhao Yuan opened his mouth and said, I want to fight the Demon King duel, but the Demon Kings in other countries have used the free-to-fight card props and can refuse the Demon King duel within 3 days. I got new accessories. Next, I plan to take the initiative to provoke a guild battle, that is, the battle of the Demon King to defeat the brave. I checked the rules just now, and I only need to use 3 battle orders to forcibly launch a Demon King crusade. Unless the enemy has items such as battle-free cards, they must be forced to participate. This is one of the advantages of being a Demon King, Guang Heron said. Even if the enemy is forced to participate in the guild battle, knowing that he is not your opponent, he will definitely withdraw from the beginning, even if he has to pay a heavy price for the reduction of attribute points. Zhao Yuan pondered, you're right, these enemies have already been frightened. The 2 punishments of disbanding the guild and reducing attribute points will definitely choose the latter. Yuning reminded, in the last Demon King crusade, the beautiful country used some kind of shackles props, which prevented us from forcibly withdrawing, and we had to die 10 times to remove this effect. Can we also buy similar items? Block the enemy and cannot forcefully withdraw from the guild battle. Zhao Yuan remembered the jewelry maker just now. She was one of the big figures in the auction house. The most important source of purchasing one-time props and rare items is the auction house. Since the jewelry craftsman just now valued the void mine so much, I will take out a few units and sell it to her. Maybe I can trade the precious items directly through the back door. Some teammates went to open the arena, and some were teleported to the dive fighters and exchanged for each other. Otherwise, the entire transportation process would take more than 3 days, and the guarding teammates also needed to sleep and rest. Zhao Yuan walked to the auction house building by himself. He saw the female jewelry craftsman who was slowly descending the stairs and said, I have mined a few more units of void mine. I wonder if you still need it. The jewelry maker had curly black long hair, a beautiful face and rough fingers, and responded, of course, this ore can create space backpack props similar to your players. I will charge as much as I have. I am one of the largest power holders in this auction house, and I am fully capable of paying expensive fees. Zhao Yuan said, I have excavated a total of 30 units of void mines, and I still have 20 units in hand. I need some special items that can be used in guild battles. The jewelry maker recalled, is there a guild war? There are battle orders, free cards, shackles, guild buff fireworks in the inventory. Imprisoning the shackles, isn't this the prop used by the beautiful country? But only one target can be bound. Zhao Yuan said, is there a shackle of the highest level? For example, the kind that can confine the entire guild to the battle space. The jewelry craftsman narrowed her eyes. She probably guessed what Zhao Yuan was going to do. To be able to obtain the void mine, her strength was definitely not low. If she needed a super large shackle, she would naturally bind an enemy guild, and then kill them all. Level 0, don't say it, there is indeed such a prop, but it has great side effects. Chapter 245 Confinement. Zhao Yuan carried a huge cloth bag, returned to the auction house again, and traded with a jewelry craftsman to get 40 super large scrolls of prison shackles. At the same time, there are 10 battle orders and 5 exemption cards. During the time when Zhao Yuan was running around, several teammates got the first level Demon King mark one after another. Obtained a 5% bonus to all attributes and a discount in the competitive mall. Zhao Yuan said in the group chat, I exchanged a small amount of void mines from the auction house for 40 super large shackle scrolls. Now the Guild of the Brave side will be forced to participate in the crusade and cannot withdraw. The duration of the shackle scroll is 24 hours, but it won't take 24 hours at all, and the enemy will be wiped out. The only thing I have to consider is whether 24 hours is enough to kill all the enemies to level 0. Yunying was confused. Why do jewelry craftsmen need so many void mines? Zhao Yuan responded, the void mine can create props similar to the player's space backpack. She can collect as many units as there are. Sun Qianyu looked excited. The guild battle was his stage. All the skills of his 10 legions were activated, which would increase the combat power of the arms to an extreme. Sun Qianyu, unfortunately, my legion skills are for auxiliary combat units. For control units like the centipede, the bonuses are actually not very useful. On the contrary, Chu Zhaoking's group invisibility can exert the greatest effect of the Yaoyu centipede. Zhao Yuan returned to the guild residence, and he still had a lot of guild supplies and funds that he had not used. He came to the orange troop reincarnation pool, consumed 30,000 troop reincarnation symbols, and reincarnated 30,000 level 10 orange troop. The current total force is 3W pterosaur cavalry, 2W half-blood dragonman, and 6W secluded centipede. And Zhao Yuan spent a lot of guild funds to create exclusive 4-piece golden equipment for all the centipedes in the Yaoyu. During this period of time, the troops will go out to hunt fierce beasts, can accumulate food, and can also increase the average level. Although there is no Yuning's experience halo bonus, the average level has reached level 40. However, the level has little effect, because Zhao Yuan has the oath ability, so it is impossible for the arms to die. Then there are 10 building promotion permissions open from the Abyss Magic Box. Zhao Yuan consumed 4 permissions to upgrade 4 level 4 defense towers to level 5. They are the 5th level Yangayan Tower, Arcane Tower, Withered Arrow Tower, and Fire Gun Tower. Then use the remaining guild funds to upgrade ordinary defense towers. Zhao Yuan promoted the other 20 ordinary defense towers to the 1st level Yangayan, Arcane, Wither, and Fire Gun Towers. Now Zhao Yuan's guild resident does not have an ordinary defensive tower, and the lowest level is the 1st level Yangayan Tower. Zhao Yuan once again consumed an upgrade authority to raise the level of Giant Hong to the 2nd level. The durability of the defensive stance has been doubled, and finally, the upgrade authority is used to promote the guild hall after the upgrade is successful. The flight speed of Laputa in the sky has increased by 35%. Deceitful Bing is now a level 7 guild, and he can be promoted to level 8 with just a little experience. Therefore, the guild power level matched is between level 7 and level 8. Zhao Yuan took out 3 battle orders and launched a strong crusade against the Demon King. A series of crusade announcements were sent to the leaders of other guilds. Seeing that it was the guild of deceitful soldiers, most of the forces jumped their eyes wildly, but this is a compulsory battle, and unless there is a waiver card, it is impossible to refuse the battle. The battle against the Devil King is launched. Matching. Chapter 246 Fighting. The guild forces of the brave side each took out their precious props and posted the attribute map on the communication channel. Facing the Demon King of the Xia Kingdom, they could only escape by concentrating all their strengths. The 8th level president of the beautiful country said, so many large-scale disposable props can allow us to display terrible tactics. The easiest and most effective way is to use the seal prop to send Zhao Yuan into another space, and then use this to smash the guild crystal. But the information about Zhao Yuan mentioned that even if Zhao Yuan is exiled, his teammates will still receive the bonus of the oath effect. We must pay attention to this. Well, time is running out, and we will each go on to carry out our own tasks. Whether we can keep our level and exit this battle space depends on everyone present, the 8th level president of Sakura country reminded. You don't have to fight against Zhao Yuan, as long as you hold Zhao Yuan for 24 hours, after the time is up, we can forcefully quit. It's easier to delay 24 hours than to kill Zhao Yuan. It's impossible for Zhao Yuan to have extra scrolls of shackles. Zhao Yuan doesn't need to prepare any tactics, his strength can crush everything, but what he wants is not only the forced dissolution of 30 brave guilds, but the pursuit of slaughtering them all to level 0. If I were a member of the brave side, I would definitely run away immediately. After 24 hours, even if the guild crystal is broken, it would be better than returning to 0, Chu Zhaoking said. The guild has been forcibly disbanded. Although I feel distressed, but my level has returned to 0, and I can't wear all the equipment, even my survival cannot be guaranteed. New Otis Sky City was surrounded by thick pure white clouds and approached the hero's side. Zhao Yuan said, when choosing an enemy, I can make some distinctions by myself, so in the crusade, I will not encounter the Guild of Xia, or the Guild of Allies and Neutral Countries. All are the forces of the enemy country. We can slaughter all the enemies to level 0 without any psychological burden, because these enemies will become our mortal enemies when they enter the national battlefield. The speed of the city in the sky is extremely fast, and at the same time, Sun Qianyu has activated the S-level Roading Wind skill. It was not the first time that Suguoshu saw these orange units, but he was still shocked by the exaggerated attributes and skills. He saw a large number of golden centipedes hugged into a group, rolling on the ground constantly. The densely packed feet made his scalp numb instantly. Even if the arm color is domineering, I don't want to get close to these golden centipedes. The legs of these golden centipedes are covered with a layer of gold threads, and there are dull golden shells on the head, pincers, and carapace. These are gold quality pet items that make these orange units even more powerful. Since the battle was initiated by the Demon King, Zhao Yuan obtained a clear map from the very beginning. You can see the coordinates of the Demon King's side and the Brave side, and the locations of the Brave side are all concentrated together. Chu Zhaoqing came to these palm-length secluded gold centipedes and said, "The secluded gold centipede's ability belongs to drilling into the target's brain to control the puppet." Chapter 247 Exile again? Zhao Yuan sat on the stone throne and looked down. He could see dense figures standing together. The total number must have exceeded 5,000 W+, and the area of the 8th level guild was extremely large. They were filled with massive troops, and Zhao Yuan could still see many high-ranking beast masters and intelligent creatures. The mobility is very strong. It took less than 5 hours to pull the surrounding intelligent creatures and beasts into the team, Zhao Yuan said. Zhang Fengwu analyzed from the side. The enemy also knows that you can't be sanctioned by crowd tactics. Why do they recruit so many intelligent creatures and beasts to give us as experience packs? Something's wrong. Zhao Yuan narrowed his eyes. That's right, part of my skill information is almost guessed by the enemy. Taunt plus anti-armor. I don't care how many units of enemies there are, no matter how many units there are, I can only deal 0 damage, which is meaningless. This may be one of the enemy's follow-up methods. Zhang Fengwu was surrounded by red gold flames of true energy, suspended in midair, and activated the sword skill. The mighty dragon of sword energy washed over the defensive position of the 8th level guild in the beautiful country. In just a few seconds, the defensive position, which was already densely covered with cracks, shattered into countless fragments. The dragon with sword aura enters the enemy guild, and immediately kills the guild buildings, living people, and beasts it touches. Zhang Fengwu fell crazily from the sky, and the red gold flames on his body burned his white scholar robe. With his head down, his left hand made a Buddha gesture, and at the same time he slowly pushed out his right palm. A palm that fell from the sky? The DNA has moved, Zhao Yuan said to himself. Click, a huge palm print with a radius of 500 meters was branded in the enemy's guild garrison, a full 10 meters deep, and the affected players and guild buildings were smashed to pieces on the spot. Zhang Fengwu then fell lightly to the ground, with a bright red gold Buddha light flowing from his body. Other teammates also jumped off the flying island one after another, and fell heavily into the enemy guild's garrison. Anyway, there was an oath effect, and Zhao Yuan was responsible for all the damage from falling from a high altitude. 7 and 8th level president of a beautiful country took out a black and white capsule and threw it towards Zhao Yuan. This prop crossed the distance and appeared directly in front of Zhao Yuan, turning into a raging black hole vortex, engulfing Zhao Yuan's entire body. Sure enough, I was exiled again. Zhao Yuan appeared in a dark river, and soon triggered the suffocation state on the battlefield. Seeing Zhao Yuan being forcibly exiled, Yuning looked calm and composed, because all members and guild crystals have been given the oath effect, and the only things that can be damaged by the battle are the defensive towers and units. It's a more advanced exile prop, Yuning said in the group chat. The previous diamond cube will still leave a body. As long as the Rubik's Cube body is broken, the banishment effect can be lifted. This time, the black and white capsule props have no body at all. That is, Zhao Yuan must stay in the exile space for a certain period of time before he can exit the different space. Chu Zhaoqing also said, although the black and white capsule props have no body, the duration of exile is definitely not as long as the previous diamond Rubik's Cube, and the longest will not exceed 5 minutes. As long as the original diamond Rubik's Cube is not broken, it can be exiled forever. It is also possible for 1 day, 3 days, or 1 month. The 8th level president of the beautiful country yelled in the channel of the Brave Party. This exile item can only last for 6 minutes. During this time, Zhao Yuan can return no matter what. Chapter 248 The more dead, the more excited. Zhao Yuan's battlefield points continued to soar. The more attacks he suffered, the more the temporary double defense increased. Battle information: when attacked, trigger the scale of perseverance. Mystery: temporary defense plus 70 points, plus 70 points. Infinite flesh and blood, Skills are affected, only half of the flesh and blood energy is absorbed, and the upper limit of blood volume is permanently increased by 0.009 points. Infinite physique. Skills are affected, only half of the flesh and blood energy is absorbed, and the physical defense is permanently increased by 0.001 points, and in the overwhelming attack, Zhao Yuan's extreme adaptation continuously superimposed various resistances. Zhao Yuan summoned the phoenix, turned on the eternal blazing sun, released the true fire of Zhong, and the fiery wave swept across the enemies on the whole map. The effect of the skill of infinite flesh and blood has actually been halved. You must know that this is an awakened SSS level skill, and the priority is terrifying high, Zhao Yuan said to himself. At this time, 2,000 tyrant tentacles had grown on the ground in the enemy guild, inheriting Zhao Yuan's high attack power, slapping the ground every 4.75 seconds. Smash the enemies within the range into rotten flesh, and these tyrant tentacles can also trigger the oath effect, attacking the tyrant tentacles, and trigger Thorn's anti-armor. Tens of thousands of enemies die every second, and they appear from the resurrection point 3 seconds later. Even if they leave the combat state, they cannot be forced to quit the battle. They must wait for the shackles in midair to disappear before they can leave this space. Under the ground of the 8th level guild in the beautiful country, there is a complicated and strange formation pattern engraved. Half of the blood that flowed after the player died penetrated into the ground. After the strange formation pattern was absorbed, a scarlet light shone. Sun Qiyu activated 10 legion skills, from the one-word-long snake formation to the 10-sided ambush formation, which increased the legion attributes for all arms. Chu Zhaoking activated the SS level Hades invisibility cap, allowing the 6W units Yaojin centipede to enter the invisible state. These Yaojin centipedes fell from the sky, raining down on the enemy. The palm-length Yaojin centipede landed on the enemy's shoulder, along the neck, and got into the ear of the enemy player all the way. Many players kept wailing and slapping themselves on the HUD vigorously. Help! Kill me! Kill me! The eyeballs of these players protruded crazily, bloodshot inside. The surrounding teammates were astonished, and soon these crazy players regained their calm, which was so chilling. Yaojin Centipede used the brain penetration skill to drill from the ears to the brain tissue on the top of the head. Hundreds of pairs of thin carapace feet grew slippery tentacles, like tendons, extending to all parts of the enemy's body at the same time. The Yaojin Centipede uses the magicization skill to make the puppet's potential burn wildly, thereby greatly increasing its combat power. 60,000 enemies were successfully instigated by the Yaojin Centipede. The most terrifying thing is that some guild leader level enemies also suffered from the brain into the brain skill and became puppets of Yaojin Centipede. A 7th level president of the Cherry Blossom country was being entered into the brain by the Yaojin Centipede. And he clearly felt that the densely packed slender feet were trampling on his brain tissue. Desperate tears flowed from his eyes, and he regained his composure in the next second. He became a puppet completely, and his whole body was no longer under his control. In addition to the Yaojin Centipede, Half-Blood Dragonmen and Pterosaur Cavalry also joined the battlefield, with more than 10 kinds of halos and oath effects hanging on them. It is impossible for them to be damaged in battle. The 8th level president of the beautiful country took out 3 charms, namely Small Armor Charm, Forgotten Charm, and Transformation Curse Charm. The 3 talismans are extremely precious props, and they are the whole cards made by different guild forces. After the target is selected, it can cross the distance and directly imprint the props on the enemy. The first is the Armor Broken Charm, which turned into a pair of armor and bombarded Zhao Yuan, and then the armor shattered into iron filings. Chapter 249 Crazy Harvest. The SSS level is enchanted, and it will suffer unknown pollution every second after it is turned on. That is, the sanity value will be deducted every second in exchange for terrible power. In a sense, this skill is more terrifying than the SSS level 8 or Dungia, which consumes health points, while enchantment consumes sanity points. The area at the foot of Suguoshu turned into a pool of scarlet and seductive killing blood. The blood seemed to have self-consciousness and madly penetrated into Suguoshu's pores. Suguoshu's aura suddenly changed, and a strong evil spirit rose into the sky, forming a column of fierce evil spirit. Suguoshu's eyes began to fill with blood red, and the madness took over his consciousness a little bit. He said in the group chat, "This SSS level magic skill will deduct 1 point of my sanity per second, that is, after 100 seconds, I will completely lose my sanity and transform into an indescribable creature, but Zhao Yuan's oath effect can help me bear this part of the pollution, so I can turn on the magic state for a long time and use this ability without any burden. Zhao Yuan glanced at his battle information. Invaded by unknown pollution. Pollution resistance is being judged. The judgment fails, and 0.1 sanity points are deducted per second. This result was expected by Zhao Yuan. Because this is not one of the starry sky and abyss pollution, Zhao Yuan's high starry sky and abyss pollution resistance will not work. It was all due to his own resistance and soul strength that he deducted 0.1 sanity point per second from his pollution saving throw. Su Guoshu asked, Zhao Yuan, can your pollution resistance be immune to unknown pollution? If it affects you, I will no longer activate this skill and use it as a last resort. Zhao Yuan responded, it doesn't matter, you will be exempted from me soon. You have always promised to turn on the enchanted state and will not threaten me. Zhao Yuan is so confident, of course, relying on the ability of extreme adaptation. Battle information, invaded by unknown pollution, triggering extreme adaptation, kill and blood pollution resistance plus 0.5, plus 0.5, plus 0.5, it turned out to be a pollution called kill and blood. It only took a very short time for me to stack the kill and blood pollution resistance to a very exaggerated value. It will be completely immune to this kind of pollution, and Su Guoshu will be able to keep the skill enabled all the time. At the same time, the extreme adaptation is still constantly being triggered, and this experience of being able to continuously become stronger after being beaten is really comfortable. Suffering from the effect of shattering armor, triggering extreme adaptation, armor shattering resistance plus 1, skill forgetting resistance plus 1, transformation curse resistance plus 1, as the three resistances continue to stack up, the duration of these spells becomes shorter and shorter. The enemy is still charging like crazy, but in a few minutes, Zhao Yuan will be immune to these three powerful props. Su Guoshu, who turned on the SSS level enchantment and a series of explosive skills, turned into a madman, giving people a direct sense of being polluted by the abyss, roaring and rushing to the enemy's station. He alone carried countless attacks, and with a whip, he directly swept a third-level defense tower. This is a 3-level defense tower. It was a defensive weapon capable of destroying large-scale players, but it was broken by a whip leg. The enemies were shocked, but this was only the beginning. Chapter 250 Terrible Hoils. Zhao Yuan said in the group chat, since the enemy wants to die, then we will completely satisfy them and kill them all to level 0. The average level is 120, which means you need to kill 120 times in a row. All the firepower of Zhao Yuan, Phoenix, teammates, arms, and defense towers was released crazily, and the hostile players with 5,000 W units fell into a cycle of death. After being instant killed in an instant, 3 seconds passed, and he was resurrected again, and just after being resurrected, he was instantly killed again, and so on and on and on. Every kill can get a lot of experience points, proficiency, and battlefield points. After half an hour, all enemies have been killed more than 30 times. Zhao Yuan's infinite flesh, physique, blues, and resistance skills still only trigger half of the effects, so where did the remaining half of the flesh energy go? Zhao Yuan didn't care about these things at all, and killed all the enemies in front of him back to level 0 in one go. Besides, the name of the Devil King needs to be created with countless bones. Soon, the hostile players panicked, and they were worried that the plan would be exposed in advance, so they yelled wildly in the Brave channel, didn't it be agreed that 50 million people would die 30 times to meet the needs? Why haven't they been released yet? Another 8th level president of the beautiful country responded slowly, yes, but this is only the minimum requirement. The more deaths, the better the effect of the ultimate blood sacrifice. With Zhao Yuan's strength, I have to make the most prudent plan, the 8th level president of Sakura country said angrily. You want to see us being killed back to level 0 before using the last resort? The 8th level president of the pretty country smiled and said, your sacrifices are definitely worth it. You can imagine in advance that Zhao Yuan will encounter the same experience as you in a short time. Zhao Yuan will also be killed back to level 0 by me again and again. Thinking about it this way, don't you think it's worth the money? The 8th level president of the kangaroo country said angrily, if I knew it earlier, I wouldn't form an alliance. They scattered and fled, delaying time, and persisting until 24 hours later. It is always possible to forcibly exit the battle space, and now we are doomed to be killed back to level 0. Zhao Yuan turned on the flying effect of the golden wings and looked down at the half-ruined guild resident. As soon as the enemy is resurrected, he will be instantly killed, and as soon as he is resurrected, he will be instantly killed. There is no room for manipulation, and there is no chance to even say a word for mercy. Just like that, 1 hour passed, and the enemies of the 5000 W unit were completely killed back to level 0, all eyes are numb, and the heart is broken. Unlike the people who fell into the illusion and were repeatedly killed, they did not fall into the illusion and watch their level drop from level 120 to level 0 little by little. This was a level they had worked so hard to achieve for 9 to 10 years. No enemy was able to beg for mercy during the whole process, and was immediately killed by a cover-type attack just after being revived after reaching level 0. No matter how much you kill, you will not get experience points and battlefield points, so Zhao Yuan stopped killing. Boom, at the far edge, a stream of scarlet blood rushed straight into the universe. Piercing through the thick clouds, terrifying life fluctuations diffused from a distance. Seeing this, these numb and silent hostile players regained their spirits, as if they wanted to witness for themselves how Zhao Yuan was killed over and over again. Zhao Yuan said in the group chat, "From the beginning of the battle, half of the flesh and blood energy left behind after the death of these enemies has been sucked away, and the total number of guild forces is 30. If you calculate carefully, you will find that there are several million people missing. There is a high probability that they will hide in the dark and use the flesh and blood energy of these dead enemies to create terrifying summons, but I have no intention of stopping it at all, because killing these weak enemies is really boring. Finally, I summoned a half-step prince-level creature, so that I can feel a little sense of accomplishment after killing them." Zhong Wen stroked his crew cut, and said, "That is to say, if you said something like this, if it were someone else, I would feel like I was in Versailles." Zhang Fengwu slammed his lips and said, "It's ruthless enough." Among the enemies who were killed back to level 0, there were also 8th level guilds from the beautiful country, and the person who arranged this trick should have deceived these players, maybe let them die 30 to 40 times, and then turned on the whole card. As a result, he was abruptly killed back to level 0, and only then did he activate the summoning ability of Soaring Evil Spirit. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.